Remember, knowledge, it ain't free. You got to pay attention.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
The legend himself, Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie. Tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, presented by Am Wager.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at pastthewire.com and check out the Tracking Trips page. Nobody does it better.
Ciao tutti. We are here a couple of days out from the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream Park. Exciting race, exciting day of racing. Salute Gulfstream. They put together a really nice card, a lot of stake races. You know, that philosophy, which is the now philosophy, really pretty much across the sport of kings, is what it is. It's great on those days. The other days suffer because of it, but we're going to play the hand we're dealt, and we're here to talk about the Pegasus. And we got a lot coming up for the Pegasus. We will be on track live with updates, selections, analysis, comments all day long. You can tune in live on Past the Wire TV and check it out. Afterwards, you can check it out as well if you missed the live broadcast. But we'll have plenty of stuff coming at you for the Pegasus. Prior to the Pegasus, Gio Stettin is going to be offering his full card deep dive in detail analysis on pastthewire.com. You'll be able to find it there. I'm sure if you check Gio out and Pass the Wire out and me out and all of our team out on social media, you'll find links to it if you are so inclined to check out Gio's full, precise order handicap that nobody quite does like Gio does. And we may even have nice guy Eddie offering his notebook picks as well. I'm not 100% sure he's going to do it. He might do it. But we'll have plenty of stuff for you to look at. And, of course, our Tracking Trips people, which are, you know, the hardcore, diehard, Past the Wire people, my people. We'll have our Pegasus stuff. We'll have other tracks as well, and our usual stuff coming at you. Because that's what we do. Thank you to Amwager for making all of this possible. Thank you to Sure Bet Coffee for making all of this possible. Thank you to Spendthrift Farm, Kingdom Nutrition, McMahon Thoroughbreds of Saratoga, everybody that helps us kind of bring these videos to you. But most of all, thanks to all of you for watching. Now, we're going to get into the Pegasus. I'm going to tell you a quick story that I think is funny now, one funny then, but the video is not going to be very long. But I got to address a comment that somebody made the other day that was really kind of interesting. You know, he's like, you know, love your videos, go hit the like button, and 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people watch it. You got 100 likes. People can't take a minute to just hit like if they like it. I will say this: if you don't like the video, of course, don't hit it. But if you like our videos and you hit the like button and you share or you leave a comment, It really helps the channel a lot. We appreciate it. We see it. We know who supports us. We know who really doesn't. But it means a lot. So you know, the gentleman who said it was right. For the amount of people that like it and comment and watch it, not to have more you know likes was a little disheartening. But it is what it is. If you like it, you hit the like button. If you don't, you don't. We hope you do. That's why we do it. Now, we're going to dissect the Pegasus race. We're not going to do the whole card here. That's going to be coming up. But the Pegasus itself, I've got a pretty strong opinion in, so I decided to kind of put that race out early. And, you know, basically, I think I found one. And hopefully it leads to and if that works out, we know I'll be at because that's just how it goes. But before we get into the card, I'm going to tell a funny story. Well, like I said, it was funny then, but not very many people know. Some people close to me know. Obviously, Blondie knows. But the inaugural Pegasus, I did attend. I think I attended every one except for the COVID year. But the inaugural Pegasus, I attended under very strange conditions. And it's funny because who was it? Oh man. Somebody that I like actually, and they did it to be funny, but they took a picture of a girl at the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar in a mini skirt and high heels with an ankle bracelet on. And I always found that particularly funny because when the inaugural Pegasus came around, I was actually on house arrest for a problem that I had. And, you know, in the beginning, and house arrest is miserable. Let me tell you, it's way better than jail, and it's way better than prison. But it's no ball of wax. I mean, it's no day at the beach. You're not even allowed to go to the mailbox to get your mail. They used to come to my house at 2, 3 in the morning, literally SWAT team. Okay, SWAT pulls up, they get out, flak jackets, SWAT, parole, probation, all across the back, SWAT, surround the house. I don't know, maybe it's because of my dogs, but I don't think so. I think that's just what they do. Like 3 in the morning, rouse everybody up, just to make sure you're home. You're wearing an ankle bracelet, and they're making sure you're home. So they were really hard-nosed in the beginning. After a while, my officer got to know me. I think he knew that I was a decent guy, and ultimately he became really cool with me. As long as I let him know what was going on, he was cool with it. They let me go to Saratoga for Travis Week. They let me go to the inaugural Pegasus, but the inaugural Pegasus under house arrest, I went wearing an ankle bracelet. And you know, you got to check in, you got to make a call every time you drive from one county to the next. You got to call up, they're tracking you, monitoring you, everything. Like, you know, they take that very seriously. So in any event, I went to the inaugural Pegasus wearing an ankle bracelet. And when I got there, it was the first one. So they were a little bit more security conscious than they are now. They had BSO deputies all over the place checking people when they went in, metal detectors, this and that. So there I get to the gate, and I'm like, oh, man, these guys are going to pin me out with this ankle bracelet on. Going to have to explain. Who knows? It's going to be embarrassing, whatever. Not that I was really worried, but it just was awkward. Anyway, I went in, they checked me, they scanned me, they did the whole 9 yards like they did everybody else. They never even realized it. I went in, touched the Pegasus trophy, held it, took a picture with it, hung out all day, went everywhere I had to go, saw everybody I had to see. It was under my pants. You couldn't really see it unless I sat down and crossed my legs. But yes, inaugural Pegasus ankle bracelet. Yours truly. True story. What are you going to do? Hopefully those days are in the rearview mirror forever. But you never know. But we're here now. We're going this year. We're not wearing an ankle bracelet. We don't got to get the okay. We don't got to call every county line we cross. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more relaxed of an atmosphere. But true story, an over Pegasus ankle bracelet. What are you going to do? I think I was petting Arrogate with an ankle bracelet on. But so be it. Took some nice pictures. Still have them. Some nice videos, still have them. Past the Wire TV really wasn't even around at that point. I don't even know if Past the Wire was. It might have been, but probably was. But yeah, that's what happened. So we're going to get ready to go to battle in the Pegasus, and we love going to battle. So we'll get into the race. We'll talk about it and run down the field. I'll tell you where I land and why. Now it's early. Today's only what? I think today's Tuesday. The race is Saturday. So there's a lot that could happen between now and then. Check back with us for final opinions, adjustments based on weather, track conditions, scratches. You never know what could happen that could alter what we're thinking. But we're going to run down the field, and I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll go from there. So from the rail, mile and an eighth, Gulfstream Park. We all know it helps to be a little bit towards the front end at Gulfstream Park, especially by the time they're turning for home. If not at the half-mile pole, you don't want to be too far back. It's a tough track to make up a lot of ground on. It has happened, and, good horses can overcome everything, but you don't want to be too far back at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and an eighth or going any distance for that matter on the main track. The other thing is that you got to remember at Gulfstream Park's funny. Gulfstream Park, mile horses can get a mile and an eighth. Mile and an eighth horses can get a mile and a quarter. You can get a little bit more distance than you can normally get at Gulfstream Park. Why that is, I don't know. You'd have to ask some really sharp, astute trainer who's smarter than me, because one of them is the one who told me that. But that is the case. So we'll keep that in mind. From the rail, who do we got? We got mixed 2 from Doug O'Neill shipping in, riding Frankie. Frankie's never won the Pegasus. He never won a race at the fairgrounds. He just won one last week on the LeCompte card, where we nailed disco time pretty good on our show, on tracking trips, and everywhere else. But that was then. This is now. Mixed 2 comes from the rail with a 2 for 16 record. He's got that big race that he ran in the Pacific Classic. He's never duplicated it. Perfect Storm at 20-1 he caught. I've always thought he was a nice horse, but to me, he's a cut below some of the better ones in here. I don't see him as a very likely winner. Doug O'Neill's always dangerous. Frankie is always dangerous. He's riding like fine wine. He just gets better with with time. Like a guy rides like, Chateau Lafite drinks. He just gets better with age. But you got to have the horse too. So I don't think Mixed 2 is up to it. Does get a nice trip. It's definitely the kind of horse at a big price, and the morning line's not out yet, but I assume he'll be a big price that can maybe get into the back end of the Super or the Tri, but winning the race, I don't see it. Saudi Crown, going to be one of the choices. Brad Cox, we all know Brad Cox is always dangerous. They're bringing this horse back as a 5-year-old. He's not gelded. Obviously, they're still looking for that big win that he just has never, ever produced. He's failed on the big stage every time they've put him there, and they obviously think he's got that big stage race win in him. I don't think they would have kept him around at 5 if they didn't think so. He comes off a really nice win in the Tenacious Stakes at the fairgrounds. He flopped in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. You know, Saudi Cup, he ran good, but he couldn't hold off Senior Buscador. Louisiana, grade 3 at the fairgrounds, he won. He seems to like the fairgrounds. Breeders' Cup Classic, he flopped. He won the Pennsylvania Derby. He got nailed by Forte in the Jim Dandy. That's when Forte was really good. You know, he's never really produced that big race on a big day in a spot like this. I do think that his best chance to do that is on Saturday. But I do like somebody better than him. So Saudi Crown, I'll say he's dangerous. I'm not going to back him. I respect him. I think he can win. I agree with his connections that he does have that race in him if everything goes right over a track that he likes. I do think he's coming into the race perfectly. I do think they kept him around for the right reason. He got beat 38 lengths in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I think he could draw a line through that because Flo probably at that point just said, you know what, I'll save him for another day. And he came out of that race and won. So Saudi Crown, I think, gets respect, is definitely a player, but he's not where I land. And I'm going to hope that he doesn't quite get it done in one of these big spots again. And I like somebody, even if he runs his race, to outrun him to the wire anyway. Newgrange makes his first start for Jose D'Angelo, who wins a lot of races in Florida. He's hitting over 25%. He's starting to win all over the country, really, Jose. Goes from Phil D'Amato's barn to his barn. Was in much better form at different points in his career. Started his career with Bob Baffert. Went to Phil D'Amato, you know, won some nice races, you know, won the San Pasquale, won the San Antonio, both grade 2s. You know, likes the mile and an eighth, never been at Gulfstream, likes to win. He's 7 for 15. He's almost won half his starts. Again, he's a little off form. Can Jose wake him up and turn him around? Maybe. I'm going to say prove it. And take a stand against him, but you know, he wouldn't be a shock. But I don't like him. I'm going to have to, you know, see more out of him in the new barn before I jump on board. White Barrio, the likely favorite. We beat him with Mufasa last time out. Loved Mufasa. Had him on tracking trips. I think he was the Sure Bet Coffee Play of the day that day. I don't remember, but loved Mufasa. Beat White Barrio. A lot of people loved his comeback race. I didn't. I liked it the first time I watched it. When I rewatched it, I thought, you know what? It was a 10-length win. He was supposed to win by 10. I don't think it was all that in a bag of chips. I thought he was very vulnerable in the Mr. Prospector. I would have been more leery of him had he run in the Harlan's Holiday, but he didn't. They kept him at the 7 furlong distance, ran him into Mr. Prospector. And just got outrun by Mufasa and heads into this at a distance he likes. He's 8 for 6 at Gulfstream Park. Loves the track. We know that, but we beat him at the track last time. He's 2 for 7 at the distance. That's not phenomenal. Favorite, legitimate, can win, but I'm against him again. So I'm against him and Saudi Crown for the money, and they're probably going to be the first and second choices. At least I'm hoping so. But I think I can beat them both. Crouppy. Crouppy's an interesting horse. I think Crouppy ran a phenomenal race in the Whitney against the bias when I had Arthur's Ride. Now, I liked Arthur's Ride. He won. I thought it was a wide open race. I didn't love him. I wasn't singled on him, but he was one of my top choices, and I did use him and catch him. But he got a lot of help. They harrowed the track right after the race before that, made it super speedy, and that race in the Whitney looked a lot better than it actually was. Who really ran a hell of a race in the Whitney against that virus was Crouppy. But he came out of that and hasn't been able to do it again in what I thought was softer spots. Tapper Trice and Skippy Longstocking both kicked his ass. The race after that in the Clark, Rattle and Roll, Most Wanted, they kind of kicked his ass. So he never really validated that huge Whitney race. Maybe he just liked Saratoga, just liked that track that day, even though the bias of it was against him. So Krupe, I love Luis Saez. We know Todd wins a ton of races over there. Mike Rapoli and St. Elias, Vinny Viola and Mike, they win a ton of races over there. They're not there just to run, but Krupe, I got to say, prove it. Brings us to the horse that I'm at this point landing on in a big way, and that's Stronghold. I think Stronghold is sitting on a monster race. I actually liked him in the Malibu at 7. I knew after the PA Derby he wasn't going to the Breeders' Cup. I knew he was pointing for the Malibu. I thought it was strange. I thought he was more suited to the mile or even to the Classic. But they ran into Malibu, and he ran great. He had no chance of catching Raging Torrent that day, going 7 furlongs. It wasn't his game. He was close to the pace. He made a nice move. He was willing down the lane, finished good, galloped out great, and I think it's a phenomenal setup race for the mile and an eighth at Gulfstream. And my only question is, does he like the track when he ships over to Hallandale Beach, Gulfstream, because he's never been there? Now, he did handle the track in the Pennsylvania Derby, Seize the Gray wired him up that day, didn't get the right kind of trip, or I think he would have kicked Seize the Gray's butt. It didn't happen. Dragoon Gold, the race before that, in the Indiana Derby, again, didn't get the right trip, got wired up by an Only Speed. Brad Cox, Judmont horse, I'm going to forgive that. Didn't fire in the Kentucky Derby, so he's lightly raced. He wasn't pushed hard for the Breeders' Cup like some of these other horses. I think the Malibu is a phenomenal setup race. I've watched this horse train in the morning. They've put him behind horses. They've taught him how to finish. They've taught him how to move when Freysu gives him the cue. I love Antonio, who I think is one of the best riders in the country and doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Son of a bitch, can horseback. He can ride. And I think he's sitting on a big race with Stronghold. If gun to my head and I was betting now, I'm Stronghold. Absolutely. I think he could sit close enough at Gulfstream Park to reel these horses in. I think he's going to be finishing down the lane, and I think that Malibu was a phenomenal setup race for Stronghold. So I think major player, third choice, fourth choice if I'm lucky. And, when you like a third or fourth choice and you're, singling in a race or just using him, that helps a lot in a pick 5 or pick 4 if you're going for multi-race wages. And on the win end, it don't hurt too much either. So I like Stronghold quite a bit. Steel Sunshine, another Gulfstream Park specialist, but to me, probably a little better at one turn. I said that about Tambaramba a few weeks ago, and he got beat. More of a one-turn horse. I think Steel Sunshine is more of a one-turn horse. He's 0 for 4 at a mile and an eighth, despite being 6 for 18 at Gulfstream Park. So I'm going to say he's a cut below. He does get Dylan Davis, who is riding lights out and definitely making the most of his trip to South Florida for the first time. But again, you don't only have to be a great rider. You need something in order to win, and we know what it is you need. You got to have it. It can't just be the rider. So as good as Dylan's riding, I don't know that he's going to get home with Steel Sunshine, especially at a mile and an eighth around 2 turns. Vitality, Rajiv Mirage, riding Vitality, probably the longest shot in the race. He's another one, only 2 for 12. He did make a little bit of noise in the Prince of Wales, drawing off by 4 lengths at Fort Erie. I don't know. I don't see any races that he's run yet that are good enough to win here. Would have to take a major step up. Brings us to our Kentucky Derby winner, Mystic Dan, who also, interestingly, comes out of the Malibu. A lot of people found that a very curious spot for him to come back in, laying off from the Belmont Stakes. Wins the Derby, second in the Preakness, up the track in the Belmont, lays off till the Malibu. Didn't really run a step, but Ken McPeak is running him here. Kenny's always dangerous when he runs these horses. Wins a lot of races, had a banner career year last year with the Oaks Derby double. You know, I'm hoping he's the third choice. I'm hoping he takes a lot of money. I'm not a believer. I would have liked to see have seen him do more in the Malibu. I like Stronghold better than him at a mile and an eighth at this particular time, and he's going to have to prove it to me like some of the others. So I'm against him too, and I'm hoping he, White Barrio, and Saudi Crown all take more money than Stronghold and make Stronghold at best the fourth choice in the race. Skippy Longstocking got some speed. He's another one that's never really won. Well, I really shouldn't say that. He did win the Oaklawn Park handicap. He's run third in the Stephen Foster. You know, he's third in the Breeders' Cup Mile to Cody's Wish. So you know, he's shown up on some big days. He's never really won. Well, I don't know. Depends what you know, how much weight you put in the Oakland Park handicap at this point. It is a grade 2. Skippy Longstocking, I respect. He's a hard-hitting professional. I respect Safi Joseph. He's 9 for 28. Only 3 for 10 at Gulfstream, so it's not like it's his favorite service. Excuse me. He is 5 for 13 at this distance, so we know he does like the mile and an eighth. I actually do think he likes a 2-turn mile and an eighth, maybe even best. But I think he gets a little bit of pace pressure. I don't think he gets a lonely lead, which I think is his best shot to win, or even a nice stalking trip. I think there's going to be a little tussle for the lead when horses start making their move. And again, I'm going to take a shot against him. Locked may wind up being the favorite and may make Stronghold the 5th choice instead of the 4th choice. And I hope that does happen. Locked, again, Todd Pletcher, we know he wins races at Gulfstream Park. He wins races at Saratoga. He wins races all over the place. But Gulfstream and Saratoga, he's particularly dangerous. This horse has come back lights out. You know, he won that allowance race at Aqueduct. He won the Cigar Mile. He's gotten good. He always was good. He did run 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. 2 Fierceness. Won the 2 races a 2-year-old before that. Come back off a long layoff, nearly a year. Came back a new horse. He's a gun runner. He's dangerous. Of the other horses other than Stronghold, I'm probably most leery of him because he's a kind of up-and-comer. I don't know that we've seen his best yet, and Todd has a tendency to bring these horses, you know, to their peak at Gulfstream and in these kind of spots. So Locked is one that when they're coming down the lane, if Stronghold gets the lead at the 8th hole, like I hope he does, and Antonio can smell that money and he's going, I'm going to take a look back and say, where's Locked? Is he coming for me? And he's one of the ones I'm going to be worried about and probably the most worried about. So I respect Locked. If I was going too deep, I'm not. I'm at this point early. You'll know for sure if you tune in on Breeders' Cup on Pegasus Day, because we'll be giving live check-ins and updating and tracking trips. People will know. If you're not a member, there's no better time to join. The beginning of the year, ride with us. You'll never stop. But Locked, if I was going too deep, which I don't plan on, Locked would be the probably be the next one that I would use. Power Squeeze, Philly. I don't know. Loves Gulfstream, 2 for 3 with a second. I can't get to her. If you can, all the power to you. I think if she wins, you should get paid. But I can't get to Power Squeeze, and that wraps up the field. So I like Stronghold. I think he's sitting on a really big race. I think this is the perfect spot, perfect distance, perfect setup for him. All roads, the way I look at this race, lead to him. With a little concern about Locke being a little better than I think and making a late run. But I think we're going to get Stronghold home. At least that's my opinion at this stage of the game. So there you have it. That's my take on the Pegasus Now. Early Pegasus preview talk. We're going. We ain't wearing an ankle bracelet. We don't got to get permission. So that's a good thing. And I hope to see some of you there. Stop by and say hello. And like I said, a lot more coming up. We got Geo's thing coming up. We got tracking trips coming up just about every day, or on the big days, or on the days that there's worth something going after. We're out there. If you're not a member, you got to hate money. And even nice guy Eddie may put up his notebook picks. We'll see what happens with that. But thank you all for tuning in. If you're cold like I am, I'm drinking coconut water, but I'm about to have a cup of Shore Bet coffee, piping hot, because it's a little chilly in Florida. It's supposed to be a little chilly on Pegasus Day, but no rain in the forecast, and that's always a good thing. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Ciao for now.
Enter the world of Kingdom Nutrition, your #1 source for healthy horses and fast finishes. Make sure your horses stay strong and healthy with the balanced mineral profile of Healthy Bones. This veterinarian recommended supplement helps foals, weanlings, and yearlings grow and develop. Healthy Bones also helps speed up recovery so your horses stay in training longer and race more often. Our 100% all-natural Appetite supplement helps relieve sensitive stomachs so that your horses can eat up and get faster on the track. Kingdom Nutrition. We stand by our products with a 100% money-back guarantee. Call Justin today because Kingdom Nutrition makes healthy horses and fast finishes. Welcome to Pass the Wire TV, your #1 source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Pass the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmonte Stakes at Saratoga. The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard. Oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pass the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better.